Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Fernleaf Islands. In the last episode, a small group of our creatures banded together to migrate to the next island, and as luck would have it, we do actually have a jungle way in the back. This island is about half grassland and half jungle, so luckily we have not had any creepy crawlies slither out of the jungle just yet. If we listen around and if we sniff around, we can't actually see like those giant apes or anything, so far we've been pretty lucky. I am hoping that we're going to be able to strengthen our numbers at the very least before we decide to set foot in the jungle, because I have a feeling that once we start creeping around the apes' territory, there is a very good possibility that they're going to try to push out into ours as well. And we want to make sure that our creatures are going to be able to hide from them because, of course, we are not meant to battle the apes. We're not meant to be able to conquer them as we would typically with the carnivores on the previous islands. We are meant to hide from them because they are very, very powerful and they have a much longer lifespan than our little critters in our tribe. Tidepool in particular is one of the creatures who is getting very close to the end of his life because he did actually receive some injuries on the previous island when they were battling all of those carnivores that JessiMew sent our way. So today we're going to see if maybe we can find some healing fruits for him to eat. This is basically going to be like our last chance to actually heal him. So if we can't find any healing fruits in the grasslands over here, then he might be out of luck. We do have some healing fruits in the jungle, but like I said, I'm a little bit leery about bringing our creatures in there when we're not completely prepared to take on the apes. So instead, I think what we might do is maybe send Anara and Sandstorm off toward the western portions of the island to see if they can find anything over here. Though we're going to have to be careful because it looks like this is just about where the jungle starts too. We have these strange looking fruits over here, and of course we have the really big trees, which is where the apes actually spawn. It does look like we have a regular tree here though, right next to one of the ape trees, which is kind of an unfortunate position for it to be in, but I suppose that means that we could bring some of our crackerjaw creatures, or of course some of our creatures with the nimble fingers to hopefully pick up those acorns. For now though, I guess all we can really do is pick our berries, so we'll have Nuvanu go ahead and scoop up all of the berries in both of these bushes, and then I think he should probably connect the pathways over here. We want him to stay in the grass when he's between the two berry bushes, so that'll give him a little bit of camouflage. But let's go ahead and pick up the grass right here just so that we can get around a little bit easier. We're trying to form these very strategic pathways around the island right now, just so that we can get from like point A to point B very quickly in case there's any troubles. Like if a Wink was to run into some sort of carnivore, then we wouldn't really be able to get to him because he's right in the middle of all this tall grass. So that's why I want to make sure that we can get to places without risking the camouflage that we currently have around our nests. I'm kind of surprised that bunny hasn't moved though, even though we picked up all those berries. I mean, I guess Tidepool could actually go down there and grab it. It looks like all of our babies are currently protected anyway, so let's have Tidepool jump down here and grab this bunny for us, and then we'll have him pick up the meat too. But let's have Anara and Sandstorm start making their way over to the west. I think Anara in particular would definitely be willing to help out Tidepool try to find some sort of medicine for him because he spent so long making sure that she was okay while they were just trying to migrate to this island. Though unfortunately I'm not seeing anything just yet and we are getting dangerously close to the jungle. Let's sniff around. It looks like we do have another bunny back here, so there must be yet another burrow somewhere on this island. But yeah, I'm not seeing any of those healing fruits in the grass out here, so we might actually have to go deep into the jungle to find him any way to heal himself. But let's have Sandstorm move around this way. Yeah, now we're getting toward the jungle. These are actually little jungle plants, so this must be a jungle tile right here. Now let's see if we can move Anara maybe around the tree. No, it doesn't seem like there's anything over here at all, so we could just have Sandstorm go ahead and pick up some acorns, and we will keep a very close eye on these two. And in fact, maybe we should have Snakeweed clear out a little bit of this grass over here, just in case, like I said, just in case they have to get over here very quickly, or just in case they need to escape for that matter. If an ape comes out, then we're probably going to want to have Sandstorm and Anara escape from the ape's range. So if we have a little pathway over here, then we won't have to worry about them stumbling. Now another thing I want to focus on is definitely making sure that Luna is able to have enough babies. She's already had one little comet who of course inherited one of her big strong claws, and he also has his father's antlers too. So he actually has a pretty decent stat and strength, He has a 4 in strength. That means that he will not be able to actually harm the apes. So yet again, another reason why we shouldn't actually be attacking those apes. But he should be able to help us if we run into any carnivores out here. So I definitely want to make sure that she's having more babies pretty soon, but I think that means that we're actually going to have to move her off of her throne, her little stump throne with her nest right on top. Now, I'm not sure if the baby is going to be able to look out, even though it's right on top of the stump. I'm imagining that it is probably not going to be able to receive that stat boost for the sight. It doesn't seem like he has an eyesight stat boost by being up here, so most likely this area is going to go a little bit dark when we move Luna off of it, but we do want her to have another baby. So let's move Nightshade over here, and then we can move Luna down here. It doesn't look like it actually affected her range of sight, so maybe it'll be okay. But that does mean that we can have Luna go ahead and breed with Nightshade, and then she should be able to drop a nest right down here, which is not in the grass right now because this is right in the middle of the pathway. But as long as we keep our strong creatures nearby, I think she'll be okay. And in fact, let's actually move Nightshade up here so that he can clear out a little bit more of this grass. And this will actually lead us straight toward this bush as well, so we should definitely be able to scoot around to our different food sources just in case we get a little bit low on food later on. And then Rodukduk, this is actually your very last turn. He's going to have one more child born though, because Wisp is going to be giving birth on this turn too. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this one will be able to inherit his special immunity gene C. This is our last chance for that. Unfortunately, because it took so long with all of Animame's trials, we weren't able to have him have a very large family like we were hoping. So immunity gene C might be lost after this, but we do have plenty of other immunity genes floating around in the tribe, so hopefully that'll be enough. But I think that's all the turns that we can make for today, so let's just make sure that our mutation menu is set up correctly. I do definitely want to make sure that the stripes are in here, because I'm hoping that we can hopefully mutate more of the stripes on our tribe mates. So we'll place that right in the 30% slot. That's actually going to help us increase our camouflage while we're hiding in the grass, and since we have so much tall grass around here, that would definitely be a huge benefit. That's actually why Wisp has a camouflage rank of 7 at the moment. She has 7 points in her camouflage because she's right in that tall grass with her stripes. So I believe that means that she would actually be able to hide away from the apes. Now I'm thinking that maybe we should also place the claw in here instead of the velvet paw, just so that there's a possibility that Luna's babies might inherit both of her claws. We'll see if maybe that could work on one of her babies, because that would also definitely help us out. And of course, since she has been such a helpful member of the pack, since she has been so strong and she even managed to take down, like, what was it, 3 carnivores before we came here, I think it's very likely that her tribe mates would want to see her ascend to the full rank of a leader. So right before we pass the day, we'll go ahead and change her gems over to that special combination that signifies that she is our queen of the island, little Luna, and hopefully that's going to bring us good luck, especially as we're just about to pass the day so very close to the edge of the jungle. I'm really going to keep a very close eye on Sandstorm and Inara in particular. We don't want their babies going parentless. And speaking of which, it looks like the babies are a little bit unprotected right now since Tidepool did go after that bunny. So after we pass the day, we'll make sure that we move somebody right in the middle of all of these nests again. But let's go ahead and skip and just keep a very close eye on all of this grass. So far so good. I didn't see anything actually come out, but let's sniff around. Let's listen. Okay, so I don't see anything actually out here yet. I think we are safe, but it looks like we actually mutated something. Yellow eyes? Oh, one of our babies has yellow eyes. Let's see if we can find him. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this one back here. And he also has the stripes. How perfect is that? So of course he has his mother's big claw. He has those yellow eyes, which kind of looks like maybe the moon in a night sky. So that is very fitting for this family. He has a stinky tail, of course, which is going to help us out very much as well. He has normal eyesight. That's good because their last baby actually had the short-sighted eyes. So he definitely has a little bit better eyesight than his brother does. The only thing he's missing are those antlers. So he doesn't have as great of an attack strength, I don't believe yet, only a 3, but he is still very lucky. And if we go into the family tree, we might actually be able to see him just a little bit better. Let's see, there he is. Oh my gosh, he is so gorgeous. I love those stripes on the black fur. So for his name to stay in line, of course, with all of those space-related names, why don't we name him Cosmo? And then we'll go back here to take a look at the other baby, which I think we actually had a sneaky little peek of in the family tree. Oh my goodness, he is so thin, isn't he? He has the lean body, of course, just like his mother. He looks so tiny. He has the no pod like his father did, so that's a little bit unfortunate, and he did actually inherit the blind eyes in his genetics. Though I have been wondering if maybe we should try to breed that into our tribe. I know that sounds a little bit strange because we typically don't want to have the blind creatures in here, but that would actually give us a little bit of a boost in our smelling skills. So maybe we could actually have a couple of blind creatures scattered about here, very close to their tribe mates, of course, so they can still get around, and then we might be able to sniff just a little bit deeper into the jungle, and we would have a better warning if there was some sort of ape or a predator lurking about around our tribe. So that is a possibility. If we can find another creature with the blind eyes and their genetics, then we might actually see if maybe we could very, very carefully breed that into our tribe. Because of course we wouldn't want it completely taking over everyone in the tribe, but this guy is absolutely adorable and I love how tiny he looks. So why don't we actually name him Dot? Little Dot, because he is so very small. And look at that, he actually does have immunity gene C too, so there we go, another very good reason to keep him in the tribe. Now on the flip side, Wolfsbane is probably being viewed as a little bit more of a liability because he is the only creature who currently has the melanism trait. So I think most likely the tribe would actually want him to steer clear of their camp, simply because there is a possibility that he might actually lure predators toward them if he stays too close. So maybe they'll have Wolfsbane actually move along the shore. He could use his crackerjaw after all to at the very least pick up some shells. So as long as he doesn't drift too close to the jungle, then he should actually be able to benefit us by giving us some more food. But first, we definitely want Tidepool to scoot back up here so that he can protect all of these babies just in case anything nasty comes skittering out. And then we'll have Wolfsbane start making his way down the shore. Now I don't want him to get too close to the water because he will end up drowning, so we'll just kind of skitter along this way and see if we can find anything of value. We did have a mole in here, but unfortunately it did see a poor little Wolfsbane, and I don't actually see any shells just yet. There are some fish in the water though. He's not going to be able to grab them up because he doesn't have a claw, but that is good to know, so maybe he can share that information with the rest of the tribe later. Now let's see, you guys back here, maybe we can continue scooting around here trying to find some more of those healing fruits, though I feel like at this point it is very, very unlikely that we have any in the grasslands. I suppose we could have Sandstorm keep scooting his way around the tree, because I'm sure he doesn't want to give up on his cousin entirely. Let's see, can we sniff around? Still nothing out here, still nothing for us to gather. Just a couple of roots it seems in the grass, but we don't have that digging paw, so that isn't going to help us gather up any food. We have another berry bush back here though. I mean, this area is quite plentiful in the food situation at the very least, so if we do set somebody up over here, then we should be able to gather up quite a bit of food for ourselves, but still no sign of those healing fruits. So I think that means most likely we are actually going to have to go deep into the jungle to heal Tidepool, but that is going to be a very big risk, especially because he's not very strong, is he? He only has a 2 in strength, and that's because of his big body. So I'm not sure if that's the ideal situation, but it's really the only thing that's going to save him now. So if we do make a little bit of a pathway up there, then we might actually be able to lead him there before he gets too sick. He has 4 days left on his life, so I think that's going to be enough time for him to get up there if he decides to. We could have Nightshade clear out a little bit of this grass, and then Wink can kind of do the same. Now Wink is another one who really is not very strong, so I'm hoping that his stinky tail is going to be enough to deter some of the apes away from him if they do start spawning. But now that we have this pathway here, it should be much, much easier for Tidepool to get his way out of the grass once he's ready. Right now he's going to stay with all of the children, of course, so he's going to stay right there for this turn, and we'll have Nuvanu go ahead and pick up all of these berries that just popped up on the trees after this nice rainfall. I mean, this was very, very lucky. I guess this is what Animine was hoping for, because she gave us the rain, she gave us this absolutely adorable baby, and she also gave us immunity gene C. So I guess we did the right thing by giving Luna those leadership gems, and for that matter, we could also change her rank over. This little symbol is the animal's rank, and I always forget to use this, but we can actually change her to an alpha. The only thing that this really affects is that she would be able to eat first if we were out of food, so that's kind of why I always forget to use that, because we typically have enough food to feed our creatures anyway. But she can also now banish creatures, I believe. If we changed one of our creatures to the rank of an omega, then we could actually banish them completely from the tribe, so they would no longer be a creature that we could control. They would just wander off on their own into the wilderness and try to survive by themselves. Hopefully we won't have to do that anytime soon though. Hopefully Luna won't get into any arguments with any of her tribe mates. But now that we can move this little baby out of the nest right on top of the stump, why don't we actually scoot him over here so that Luna can breed with Nightshade one more time, and then she can sit right on top of her throne again. We'll have him go ahead and breed with her, and then she can scoot way over here. There we go. Unfortunately, she won't be able to pick from any of the berry bushes, of course, because she only has those claws. So she can just stay right on top of here and light up the area a little bit more for us. It must have been that glitch again. There must have been a little bit of a glitch where the area went dark after I loaded up the game. I know we had that problem in the previous version of the game, so that must have been it. Now we can properly see in all of these dark spaces. Now if we shuffle around our main camp a little bit, then we should be able to have Snakeweed sit in one of these nests that are already here. And in fact, she could go right in the permanent nest if we move a Nair just a little bit to the side right next to this berry bush. She's one of our creatures who managed to mutate the velvet paw, which you can just barely see in all of this grass. It's that very, very fluffy paw that should make her a little bit harder for the apes to detect. So we'll move Snakeweed into this nest right here, and then she'll be able to give birth on the next turn as well. We're still crossing our fingers that one of her babies is going to inherit her toxic body. So far we haven't had any luck, but I believe she's only had one baby anyway, and that was of course Wolfsbane. So hopefully this one will be a little bit more lucky. Hopefully it will not have the melanism trait. I think we'll actually have Wisp stay in the area too, so she could kind of scoot over here and just pick up all of these berries, because we definitely need to make sure we're picking the berries before the bunnies do, since we know that there's more bunnies in the grass over here, and we had such a hard time getting rid of them before. Now I think the last turns that we can make are way back here. We have one more turn on Inara, so why don't we have her go ahead and pick some of the berries over here, and then Sandstorm can go ahead and pick up some of the acorns too. They might as well, since they're right next to them, and they can't seem to smell any of those healing fruits in the area anyway, so I think they're out of luck. I think we are actually going to have Tidepool start making his way down here with Wink. I think that's going to be his only chance to save himself at this point, so we are going to officially take our very first step into the jungle pretty soon. But first, let's go ahead and skip the day, and hopefully nothing is going to jump out. Yet again, I don't see anything moving in the grass, so we have been very, very fortunate so far. But let's sniff around to make sure. Yeah, no dangers just yet. I'm very surprised, and that's a little bit worrying too, because you guys probably remember how quiet it was on our first island, how very, very quiet, and then all of a sudden we had all of those carnivores to deal with all at the same time. But it looks like we have another one with the stripes back here. Oh my gosh, she has the stripes, and she has the fishing tail too, so maybe she could actually come down here with her brother, and she could scoop up some of these fish. And in fact, I think a water-related name would be much more fitting for her, so let's name her Tsunami. Since she's going to be spending so much time by the waterside anyway, that would be a very, very fitting name for her. Now at this point, we definitely want Tidepool to start making his way out of this little camp, so let's move him right over here. But before he goes, I think maybe we should have him breed with Wisp. I feel like he probably caught her eye early on when he stayed right by all of the babies, making sure that they were all very well protected while their parents kind of wandered off to try to find those healing fruits. So maybe she has been eyeing him for quite a while, especially since her first mate passed away. So we'll have her go ahead and breed with him just so that she can have another baby at some point, and then we'll have him start making his way down this pathway again. If we move Nightshade over here, then he might be able to get around him a little bit easier. We can move Tidepool right here, and then right up next to Wink, because Wink is making his very slow path right into the jungle, and there we go. I think we are officially in the jungle tiles now. So these plants over here, we can actually pick up the fruit if we get close enough, but we're not going to do that because that's going to make our creatures very, very stinky. The fruit actually has a scent that attracts I believe the big-nosed ape in particular, so that would kind of negate our stinky tail, I believe, so we definitely don't want Wink to do that. He's not going to investigate those fruits. We're just going to have him clear out a little bit more of this grass so that Tidepool can get even closer to the healing fruits on the next turn. I think he'll have enough time. He has 3 days left on his life, so hopefully that means means that he'll have just enough time to scoot his way over to some of these fruits. Though it's really unfortunate that they're all so close to those trees, I'm a little bit worried that that's going to actually end up spawning one of those apes on us. And we definitely don't want to accidentally bring them into our tribe, so we're going to have to be mindful of that, not to lead them back to where all of our babies are. But Inara should actually be getting pretty old as well. She only has 2 days left on her lifespan, so why don't we actually have a Sandstorm and Inara breed as well? Their immunity genes line up perfectly and they have been spending a lot of time together, so we'll go ahead and have a Sandstorm breed with her. Now we're going to want her to drop down a nest on this turn so she can still have her baby, so why don't we actually move her right next to this tree and then she can drop a nest right there and she can give birth on this very next turn. That way they have plenty of food in the area to feed their child, and they can go ahead and even knock down some more acorns too, so they don't have to worry about their child going hungry. And it looks like Luna may have also had her very first daughter. Oh, look at this. Yes, she did. She has the stinky tail, she has the dots just like her mother, and of course she managed to inherit that claw. Thankfully, she only has the short-sighted eyes hidden away in her genetics. She actually has the normal eyes herself, and I just noticed, oh my gosh, Comet has the little frog toes? I didn't notice that before. He actually does. He has the webbed hind feet. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate because that means it's going to take him a little bit longer to actually move around on the land. Now, how about his brother? Okay, luckily his brother has the normal hind legs. Where on earth did you pick up webbed hind feet? Okay, so Luna actually has that in her recessive slot. We're going to have to keep a very close eye on that, I suppose. And look at that, so does Nightshade. I had no idea. I wonder where they picked that up from. I guess maybe Adam had it in his genetics? I vaguely remember Adam having the webbed hind feet way back when he was actually still alive on the very first island, so that is quite interesting. I mean, that is a very long throwback if that's the case, if that's where you managed to receive your webbed hind feet, but I guess that's okay. We'll just have to make sure that he sticks very close to the tribe. Let's scoot him over this way for now so that he'll be able to keep his siblings safe, and look at that, he actually managed to find one of those permanent nests too. So this was a particularly good spot for Luna to settle down and start her own family. Now she has plenty of nests to use, though I think we might actually want her to start going off after Wink and Tidepool just to make sure that they're safe. I know that she would definitely want to do that because, of course, she has seen so many battles in her very short life that she knows that there are a lot of dangers out here that they could run into. So we'll have her sit in this grass right here just to be nearby, just in case anything goes terribly wrong, then she'll be able to hopefully protect them. And we know that Nuvanu is right here keeping watch over all of her babies, while he picks his berries, of course. He'll go ahead and scoop up all of the berries that he can and just keep them all company. He has kind of become like the queen's guard without even realizing it. He's always right next to her throne and feeding her berries too from all of these berry bushes since she can't actually do it herself. So he has been very helpful, and I'm sure that puts Nightshade at ease in particular. For now, he can go ahead and collect his berries, and then we'll move back here to our main camp, of course, where Wolfsbane is going to continue making his way down the shore to hopefully find some more shells, but so far he can't seem to find a single one. I wonder if we're not actually going to be able to find shells here. He did find the bunny burrow though, and the bunny lurking in the grass way back here. He can actually hear the bunny, possibly munching on some of those berries. It doesn't look like the bunny is going after the fruits, which is probably a good thing for you, little guy. Otherwise, those apes would definitely be on your tail. But we'll have to see if maybe he can scoot in there and grab the bunny at the very least. Though I suppose he could also pick up some of the berries too. There are some berries right next to the burrow anyway. So he can definitely find us food. Even though he is a bit of a liability right now, he'll still be able to at least contribute to the tribe. And pretty soon he'll have company too in little Tsunami. Now since Tidepool has gone to search for the healing fruit, we should probably have Snakeweed actually scoot over here just to protect all of the babies. Then we can have Storm move out of the nest because he definitely doesn't need to use it anymore, and little Wisp can go ahead and sit in the nest herself. Now I believe a Storm should actually take on his mother's blue gems. There we go. We're going to have to make sure that we always change over their gems. All of these guys should also have the orange gems that their mother had before she became the queen. So let's go ahead and change those over to orange as well, just so we know that this is our warrior line. There we go. And then of course this little baby is going to be able to take her orange gems on when she grows one. But for now we can at least name her, so why don't we give her the name Nyx? That might be good for her because I believe Nyx is the goddess of the night, right? And she would definitely fit that bill with her very, very dark fur and her little spots too, which is going to help her blend in with the jungle if she decides to follow after her mother. Follow in her mother's footsteps and finally venture into the jungle herself. Now I believe all we really have left to do is move a little Anair, who I think at this point would probably be getting a little bit concerned about where her mother could be. So let's have her scoot off this way so that she's a little bit closer to her mother, and then she'll be able to meet her brand new sibling too. Hopefully her sibling has that crown of ram horns as well, though at the very least it's good to know that we have one baby with the ram horns. I'm sure Animeme is very, very happy that we've managed to keep that in the tribe at the very least. Now I think we are ready to skip the turn because most of these other creatures can't really move anyway. We don't want to pick up too much of the grass around the camp, so we'll just go ahead and skip and keep a very close eye. Oh my goodness, there we go on the jungle. I had a feeling that you were going to show your face sooner or later, especially now that Luna has climbed off of her throne, so you definitely sensed her presence. Let's sniff around and just make sure once again that nothing is in the area, nothing else is in the area that's going to harm us. Now this plant back here, I believe this is actually a carnivorous plant. So it's red right now, which I guess means that it's looking to munch on one of our creatures. So we definitely don't want to get too close to that. Instead, we'll just zip in here and hopefully get rid of this carnivore right away. Now, even though Luna is very, very strong, I don't think she's actually going to be able to get rid of this carnivore completely in all of her turns. If she was right next to the carnivore, then it would be fine because the carnivore only has 15 days on him, but she can at the very least slap him once and then maybe scoot into the grass to try to get away from him so that he can't actually hurt her, because we definitely don't want her getting clobbered by the carnivore either. And in the meantime, we want Tidepool to keep making his way toward the healing fruits because he only has 2 days left on his lifespan. So if we could move Wink a little bit deeper into the grass right here, then hopefully that means that Tidepool is going to be able to catch up. Like again, we want to steer clear of this carnivorous plant because we don't want him to get swallowed up by it. If we could move Tidepool right here and then around the plant, then he should be okay. I hope so anyway. And then maybe we could actually move Wink right on top of this stump. There we go. That's really lighting up the place. All right. So now we can see a couple more of these new things in the jungle. This little tile right here is actually a whole bunch of leaves, and if we step on it, then the apes are going to be able to hear us better. And then these over here are little patches of mud. So if we have one of our creatures go on the mud tiles and roll around a little bit, then that'll actually mask their scent, so it should be a little bit harder for the big-nosed ape to find them. For now though, we just want Tidepool to get as close to the healing fruits as he possibly can. So let's move him right over here to the other side of Wink. Thankfully, we have managed to navigate this area without any major problems, especially regarding this plant over here. But let's sniff around again just to make sure that there's nothing out here that we haven't seen yet. So far so good, but I mean, we are in the jungle now. Our first creatures have made their way into the jungle officially, so we are going to have to be very, very vigilant. Now I think that also means that Luna is actually going to have to call for a little bit of backup. Let's actually move Sandstorm a little bit closer to her so that hopefully she can scoot further into the grass. Yeah, there we go. She can go all the way over here with her last turn, and oh my goodness, a little crabbit, really? You better not step on all of those twigs and branches because we don't want you giving away our location. And for that matter, we want to make sure that these creatures are also well hidden just in case the carnivore sees them instead. So let's scoot Cosmo right into the grass because that should definitely help his camouflage. There we go. Thankfully, since he has the stripes, he is going to be very, very good at hiding in that tall grass. We could also have him go ahead and pick up this nest since nobody's going to be using it right now. And then Nuvanu can go ahead and pick the berries just like he was before, just to make sure that all of these little babies have their food. And then we have new little babies to look at too, don't we? We have Tidepool's very first child back here, and of course, we have those nimble fingers on him. So let's see, he has the stripes too, which is very good to see. So a lot of our creatures are either inheriting the stripes off of their parents or mutating the stripes just like we were hoping for. So again, to honor some of the past members of her family, I think she'll name this one Mim. nest. And then of course we have one more baby back here to take a look at who does have the crown of ram horns. Oh, how lucky is that? And look at you, little Nuvan. I think we will again keep his name because Inara has been naming her children after the old ways of the old tribe. So little Nuvan has perfect eyesight. He has those double nimble fingers just like his mother. So there we go. The only problem is that he does have a hemophilia gene. So if we do end up breeding a creature with two of these, then that would make them bleed out much faster if they were attacked by one of the predators. But so far we've been pretty lucky. We just of course have that one carnivore to deal with in the grass, and I think we'll be okay. It does seem like all of our creatures are hopefully far enough away to escape the wrath of this carnivore. And of course we're far enough away from this plant back here too, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. I know sometimes you can actually gather food from this plant, but I don't think we want to get too close when it's red like that. It definitely seems like it has some sort of agenda against our creatures. And in fact, it might be a good idea for us to make our pathways a little bit further away from this plant, like maybe wrapping around this way, because we definitely don't want our creatures stumbling out right next to this guy. But in the next episode, hopefully Tidepool will be able to munch on our very first healing plant. I'm sure Wink is very, very pleased with himself for finally managing to find the legendary healing fruits that his father spoke so much about. So we'll be able to heal Tidepool's wounds on his very last day too, so we were very, very lucky that we got him there in time. And then they can go ahead and roll around in the mud a little bit too. That might be a good idea just to mask their scents so that none of those apes will be able to follow us back to our tribe. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!